welcome. Thank you for choosing In My Shoes. I'm your host, Hilda Broady, and I'm so excited about this show. You see, I'm rushing right into it. We've been doing a series of episodes on reentry and the criminal justice system, trying to touch all phases. We've had psychologists, program managers, formerly incarcerated individuals. Today, we're fortunate to have with us Miss Katrena Glover, who I met through a web seminar that I was doing with community supervision. She's an outstanding individual, determined to make changes in her life and in the lives of other people. Without further ado, I want you, Katrena, to share just who you are, where you've been, and where you want to be.
Okay, good morning. Thank you for having me to the show. My name is Katrena Glover. I'm 43 years old. I did altogether 23 years inside the system, inside the prison system. I got locked up at 15, came home at 25. From 15 to 43, I seen 4 birthdays going on my 5th birthday in the street. Other than that, everything else has been locked behind a wall, from prisons to institutions. Institutions meaning drug programs, facilities like that.
In New York?
Yes, in New York. In New York. Everything has been in New York. My struggle right now has just been, like, amazing, because I'm understanding the struggle today. Where I came from, it was difficult. Like, I did 10 years by myself in prison. Like, no family, no friends, no understanding to where I was at. So everything I had to learn on my own. A lot of stuff I had to learn on my own.
So did your family just disregard you, or you just didn't have any family, or they chose to be absent, or you chose not to be affiliated with them?
I feel that I come from a real dysfunctional family background. Like, my family is, I don't even know how to describe it, but they were who they were, and they were who I had. My mom was not the best mom in the world, and I understand today that she only did what she knew how to do, what was taught from her. But growing up, I didn't understand that, you know, because I was a kid that was I was used to be jealous that all the other kids, when BCW used to come and get them and snatch them out their homes. And I used to say, why nobody's coming to get me? Why nobody care about me that much? Nobody don't care about me enough to care, but everybody had something to say about how we were being raised and what we didn't have, but nobody had a solution on how to get it or even to make it better. So that killed my self-esteem, along with numerous of other things that, you know, in the household, the first nurturing and, you know, learning abilities come from inside the house. I didn't have none of that. I learned how to be called names. I learned how my self-esteem can get ripped down before I even understood what a self-esteem was. You know, I was called fat bitches. I thought bitch was my name. You know, this is how my mother would address us. She would say, I wish you bitches were born dead. Like, all of these things were negative tapes that I had in my head for so many years, and it allowed me not to grow, because I didn't even know how to grow. I didn't even know how to begin to understand what was self-esteem. You know, I had to learn about my ministry inside prison through strangers. You know, it's just crazy things that happen in my life that I chose to hold on to as an excuse to just spiral out of control, not even knowing where I was going. But everybody else seen it, but nobody cared enough to help. And then now, when I get myself into all this crazy stuff, I'm the talk of the town, but nobody's helping. And I was left to do it on my own. 6 months before I got released, my mom died of AIDS, sexually transmitted. 3 months before that, I learned out what she died from. And to this day, my family is still in denial.
Okay, this was like recently?
No, this was in '92 when I first started. Oh. Like, this is when I first really started addressing the anger and my institutionalization. When I really just started learning to pinpoint some stuff, do some stuff. And through all of that, you know, other stuff happens. And what happened was I seen a way. I seen a way out. I seen a way out. And I wanted to take the shot. I didn't know how. I didn't know how to begin. didn't know where to start, didn't know who to ask. I was always embarrassed, ashamed to ask for help because people always laughed. They always laughed at me when help was needed. You know, like I used to go to school with shoes holes bigger than anything in the bottom of my shoes.
You didn't put cardboard in your shoes?
I didn't know how to do that. Nobody taught me that.
Because that's what we did.
Nobody taught me that.
We got the $1.98 shoes from Belmont Market, and they lasted 3 days. We got them in September, the beginning of the school year, and by 3 days they had we put cardboard in the bottom of them because we was poor. So, and that's unfortunate that you had no support system, because I always complained about my childhood too and the things that went on in my life, and I was like suicidal when I was 11 because of the things that went on in my life. But I luckily had aunts and uncles, and even though they were very judgmental, if you blinked wrong, they were on you. You know, anything could happen to you, but if you did something, then you would definitely have to be in the wrong. And is that kind of where, they laughed.
They just didn't care. I'm not gonna even say that. Like my family, it was chaos. Like I think everybody has this one particular individual family member that they hate to see come, that would tell all the secrets and get everything started when a couple of drinks happen. So I have this one aunt, and she did this. And through this event, one time, this is when I found out that my father wasn't my father. I never knew who my dad was. You know, it's 3 different men that they said was my dad. You know, the one that they said was my dad, who I believed that was my father, his wife don't want me in her house because she said I was too light. I was too light-skinned to be his kid. So he never did nothing and never had me. But all my other brothers and sisters, they took them. You know, like, then there's another one. He used to molest me. He started molesting. You know, this is, like, I went through crazy stuff.
But
and
this
it's the
wasn't
same
your
guy.
father.
Yeah, he's supposed to be my dad. But the same one who touched my older sister, and she told my mother, and my mother beat the hell out of her for that, saying that she don't want her to have no man, this, that, and the other. So it was multiple times where she chose the men over us. So, and I grew up with all this stuff, not knowing that it was anger, and I would react. I was asking for help indirectly and not even knowing. And, you know, like, if you can't get no attention, you would do anything to get any kind of attention. I was that kind of kid. That maybe somebody would stop and care enough to say, what's going on? And there was one man that did that, you know. This is when I found out he was my dad. It was around Christmas time. I'm little Coco in the neighborhood, and I was going to the store, and I seen him. And I was sitting on the step, and I just came making the store errand. You know how you go to the store for people, they give you quarters and stuff. I just finished making the store errand. And I was sitting on the step, and I was eating a cake or something. And he started talking to me. And he was like, hey, what you doing today, Coco? Now he said, well, so what you want for Christmas? It was around Christmas time coming. He was like, what do you want Santa Claus to bring you? And I told him, just some new clothes. He said, you don't want no shoes? I said, no, I need clothes. And this man bought me $500 worth of clothes. Come to find out, 2 years later, here it is on again. This is supposed to be my father.
Wow.
So, and I asked him, and to this day, he won't give me a solid yes or no. He just say, do I treat you like that? Okay, that's cool. Pete dead. One of the men who used to touch me, he's dead. I can't ask him. You know, my mom died with these secrets. Can't ask her. So I grew up with all this bitterness and all this anger, all this embarrassment, all this shame, all this abandonment stuff that was going on inside of me. And I didn't know where any of this stuff was coming from until somebody took me to a therapist.
Wow.
So somebody took me to a therapist. Everything that they tried, you would have thought that, I guess they put me into the therapist and because the way I was reacting, you would have thought that I was a maniac. You know, they have me away from everybody. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I've been through some crazy stuff.
When
man.
you went to see the therapist, were you at home or were you
incarcerated?
You were still incarcerated?
I was incarcerated.
Okay, because I mean, I heard that those therapists were not exactly effective because the people that are seen by them don't really want to be there, and they're just doing it because it's mandated. And you don't sound like the type that you didn't embrace it with open arms, but you were looking for something else.
Exactly. I didn't embrace it with open arms. I was looking for something, and the things that was said to me in that time in my life, in that therapy session, it started to click years down the line as I went into a drug program. Now, through a drug program, Samaritan Village, they also provide therapy. So, and I was familiar with it from being in there, but always scared. See, the reason why a lot of people don't like use therapy sessions inside, on the inside, is because the first thing they want to do is give you medication. They want to shoot you up. They want to just sedate you and just put you away. Like, this is the antidote to the problem. And it's deeper than that. It's deeper than that, because you have a lot of people that have mental capacities but also have a codependency to some things. That their system is like, you know, it's like it don't mix. It just don't mix. And most of us don't see it don't mix, but we just want anything for help, for relief, for pain relief. And I just got tired. I just got really tired because I wanted to be somebody. I really wanted to be somebody. I'm tired of being the bad person who everybody know. I want to be somebody that saying, "Dag, I know of her.
That's
I know of her. Like, she did this, she did that, but this is where she at now." Like, I've qualified for change is something that I started on the inside of the prison, because I felt there was so many different people that were like me, because I did so many years with the same faces. So I'm like, wow, there could be nothing different from me than them if we constantly ending back up in here. You know, we might not see each other when we in the street, but we on the same road to end back up in here all the time. You see these people. So these are the women that I decided to start a little group, and it was called Sisters Qualified for Change. And I just wanted, and what made me reach for it, before that, I started a youth program up in Albion. And it was called the youth program, the young youth program. It was in C Basement. And I liked it. And I got involved in that through a correction officer. She was trying to show me how to do my time instead of the time doing me. I was, again, always I was acting out. Always was in lock. Always doing this and doing that. All the wrong things. I was doing all the wrong things. And Miss Jones was really okay with a couple of other women that was lifers there. And they taught me the underground world of prison. There is an underground world in prison. And that underground world is you doing the time and not the time doing you. Meaning you will come in there with nothing, but you're going to leave out of there with something.
So you're spending your time wisely.
Exactly. Exactly. Like educating myself, getting into the schoolhouse, things that we took for granted out here or felt out of place of doing, they offer them to you in there as well. You just have to be open to get it. You know, it's different because a lot of stuff in there, we're helping each other. You have to teach yourself or teach yourself from a book. But if you really want it, it's going to be there for you. You can just still do it. And that's what happened. And through all of that, me trying to find things to fulfill my time, to make it go faster, less problems. We did a group. I did a group, and it just started from some kids that was talking, and I seen me in that person. I seen me in this person, and it just started. And then every day it just started. Then it's like it just started, and I was like, wow, what's going on? And this particular correction officer seen it, and I didn't see what she seen, but she seen that me and these people would meet every day. 2 and 3 little young adolescents and stuff, we would meet. And, you know, before they can really understand what's going on, they have to grab the negative part of it first. No, we're not a gang. This is not what we're meeting for. They want to talk, okay, this person might be affiliated with that stuff from what you know of, but that's not what's going on right here. And it took some time for them to understand that. And how it worked out even better for me is when she told me to write a proposal to the superintendent, explain it. And I did that. And it was crazy because the superintendent responded back to me through the DEP, a security, saying that, you know, what days would I like to have it? That, like, and I'm like, wow, like, and it blew me. It blew me.
You thought you were waiting for the negative, no, you
yes,
can't do
that's
this.
When I'm,
and,
yes,
and,
yes.
And so So you are allowed to have positive experiences, but you have to make your way.
Yes, you do. You have to be serious about what it is. You have, first of all, it's like in there, you can have as much positive experience you want. They could in the underground world, but you will be ejected from the underground world if that's not what your intentions are. Positivity.
Okay.
Like if you coming in here just to escape from whatever it is, or either to buy time, this ain't the place for you. Because we were down there trying to really get our lives together and really trying to understand where we were at and how can we help each other to keep out of here, to keep out of here.
To stay out.
Yeah, to stay out. And I found my relief through helping young teenagers like myself at that point. I'm not a teenager now, well, I wish I still was, but I found relief in helping them through what my pain and suffering was, because I heard that cliche before. You know, you can help somebody else through your experience, strength, and hope. And I'm like, wow, you know, it never really clicked. I hear a lot of stuff that never clicked. I think my brain works slow sometimes. You know, all the drugs and stuff and garbage that I'm putting in my system.
Or maybe just you waiting for the truth to really see the light that is truthful.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you can think back on a lot of things now that you said and you did, and you're going, did I really do that? Wow, where was my mindset? I mean, because that's what we do. That's what we do, and we don't. And because I learned to kill the blame game. Because I blamed a whole lot of people for things that I did.
Yes.
You know, and through no fault of their own, they just happen to be somebody that I could blame.
Yes.
And that's not helpful to. It wasn't helpful to them, and it sure didn't help me any. It made me feel good at the time, because then I felt, well, then nobody's gonna hate me that much because of the thing. But it came out to be that I was more angry with myself for not fessing up, and it took years. So I mean, now I'm old, but it took years for me to say, oh, I lied. Damn, I really lied. That wasn't his fault. It was my fault. I lied. If I had told the truth, probably this wouldn't even happen. But I lied. You know, to take ownership. But when we met, you were talking about some things that you were planning on doing. Now you're not there anymore. You're here. You're mature now. You're focused now, and I'm gonna do my best to keep you focused. But you seem to be already focused, and you have a mission. So can you want to share some?
Yeah, my mission is to really develop QFC, to really get that out there. Like, QFC stands for Qualified for Change, and through you, I want to see this dream happen, and I feel that it will, because of the person who you are and the help that you've been given from day one, and showing me about business plans and taking the proper steps that I need in order to make this a reality. I came home through some struggles. I think you had to go. I think, you know, you got to go through some stuff in order to appreciate where you're at or where you're going. Yes, in the beginning, I did think that it was going to be easy when I got released in December, because I felt that I did this already before. I know this, I got that, but doing it differently this time and being really committed to no crime, that's really strange for me. It's really different for me. And sometimes it's very scary for me, because when I get into a bind or something didn't work out, or I had this job and this job didn't stay around too long, my first thing was to go back to the streets. I could get some quick, easy money, you know, like to take back my will. I sold a lot of drugs. I did a lot of conning out there. Today, I don't feel like that. Today, I've been blessed with a beautiful woman in my life, my wife, Aisha Abbas. She taught me so much about patience. Like, I have none. I can't even stand in the train station and wait for the train before I bang my head against the wall. This is how my zero tolerance my patience is. But she taught me the value of being patient and just having what you have. You know what I'm saying? Like, my needs are met every day. My wants, always get me in prison. And I didn't see that. Like, my needs are met every day. I have a roof over my head. I have someone who loves me, other than me. She loves me, and I've never had that before, and shows this every day. Like somebody who really care about me, you know. I just don't want to lose any of the things that I've lost multiple of these things before. Like I had nothing, came, got something, then lose it again. But my mission is really to one day have QFC to stand and build a foundation where other women can, as well as young men. I just don't want to just keep it one way. I want it to both. Young youth adults will be able to come to our place, our safe haven, QFC housing. We want to be able to teach them how to be responsible, how not to be so scared on your own when we playing the big girl and big boy roles out there in the street. You know, like how it really is to have your own. Like if you were a single parent or if you're young parents, we want to teach you how to become parents. You know, because if you're out there and you in the street or you're not really getting the proper things that you need to become a parent, we want to afford. I hope I'm saying what I really need to say right. I'm a little nervous on the inside talking about my dream because I really want it to happen. I want it to be there, a stepping stone for other people who can be honest enough to address their institutionalization and say, you know, I need to start somewhere. And not saying that we will make it into an institution, but it would be a safe haven for you to grow out of that institution into your own thing and see yourself blossom and build some stuff up, like self-esteem, like character, like identity, like, you know, all these different things helping you to identify, you know, where you want to go. We want to be more of a mentor type, big brother, big sister type thing, and not no program stuff, you know.
Now, just to let you know that there are changes coming about toward what you're saying now. We met with some people at community supervision last week, and they were talking about the credentials now. They're actually going to try to credential. They're not using the word credential, but well, what training have you had to be a mentor? What is your background? And which I think is okay. I think that's okay, but I don't think that it should only be training, because I'm a mentor, and it had nothing to do with my training. It had to do with I saw a need, I was empathetic, I could provide the help, and I wasn't looking to get paid. I was just looking to help. You know, how can I help you? Because we're humans, and we better start helping each other. You know, and that's problematic. That's problematic now. So my thing is, so now that a lot of people are looking toward the reentry population, I'm still looking at the entry. I want to meet people at the door of the prisons. I'd like to stop people from going in, but if I can't stop them from going, at least meet them at the door so that they spend their time wisely, so that when they come out, they're hitting the bricks running, instead of thinking about, now what do I do? This is what we need. This is what we need. This is why when I met you, I was saying, so, you know, you said, I'm in recovery. No, you're in discovery.
Yes.
Discovering what else you can do. Because that's what we should be doing. That's what needs to be done. And they're getting ready to formalize your type of program. The program, I had difficulty with getting or even allowing government into my program. My program is a different approach, because I always saw that as once the government got involved, they messed it up. They bastardized my programs. And I just couldn't see them taking a program that's 99.999% successful, and how can you fix it? The only thing you can do is give me more money so I can expand it. But they have rules, and that I just want you to, because we're going to look for funding for you. We're going to look for funding for your program, but know that we have to have it tight.
Yes, I'm afraid of that too. And it's crazy that you said that, because so many years I've been on this project with QFC since '05, since 2005. First thing I've ever did with Bad Girl Productions. That was always my biggest fear, was the government coming in and restructuring my program from what I know in my heart how I wanted to go down. To answer your question, what kind of training do I have into this field? The training that I have, like I said, I ran multiple successful groups on the inside. I got my feet wet plenty of times. I did a piece with Bad Girl Productions, excuse me, I'm sorry. I did a piece with Bad Girl Productions. I did a piece with EVC Productions, Forrest Qualified for Change. And like trying to put it not just in a classroom, but now we're trying to put it on TV, on a screen. I did work with that. I did work with those. A lot of them, they wanted to take it and do it their way. Like, and it wasn't conducive. It wasn't compatible to where we were, so we end up not going anywhere with it, and I feel like I was robbed of my dream. How can I say? Take it to your advantage. It's like you got the money, you got the resources, you take somebody else's dream and make it your own, and now you cut that person out.
I don't even think it was that, though. They have something in their mind, and if yours is similar, it just has to be similar before they're trying to come in. And that's why I said we have to have it tight. I mean, it has to be airtight. I can help you write a grant, but that grant has to be bang, 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 and no wiggle room for someone else to come in and
yank it away.
There you go. There you go.
Yes. I feel like that's good. It's I don't know, it's just so much that I really would like to happen, I would like to see as being a formerly incarcerated person coming home. It's hard. It's really hard. I had to allow the little girl in me to grow up, to heal, and that's how I'm able to see QFC, because I allowed her to heal. I stopped carrying around so much anger in me for my mom and what she didn't do and who wasn't there, and, you know, like, okay, I got that piece. These things happen. Like, you know, how long am I still going to keep using this for an excuse? Like, this is getting tired. It's getting old. So I had to start being accountable, taking responsibility for my actions. Like, you know, okay, you did that. Why you did that? Like, you know, it's just like connecting the dots is the most hardest part to re-entering back out here than not having dots at all. See, not having dots is easy, because then I'm a reactor, so you can just do whatever you want, whenever you want. But when you have dots, you have to connect them, because life has to make sense now. And that means there's somebody else in your life other than you that you need to be thinking about and not be so selfish. Like, when do you stop? Like, and that's my analogy of it, and that helps me. Like, now I work. It took me a good minute to land some good work. I work. I go to my program 4 days a week, an hour a day. I like it, and then I don't like it, because a piece of that program, it feels like prison. And I'm gonna be honest with you about that. I have a real problem with the programs out here, drug treatment. I have a real problem with them and how they treat people of my status, meaning of parole, you know, ex-offenders. They have this thing that I learned about in the group through one of the counselors, that you know, it's a certain type of Medicaid that pay for your treatment. And if you want day treatment or something like that, day treatment, it's intense treatment. That means you're getting the proper care. It's different books you sign in.
Okay.
So, and it's crazy, because then your name is typed in on a sign-in roster. And if your name is not typed in on a sign-in roster and you have to write it in, you're just getting mediocre care. They really, it's like parole status. Like, the groups are garbage. They hit absolutely nothing.
Do you have an opportunity in this program to make suggestions about groups to your counselor?
You know, My counselor to me is correction officer slash police officer slash DA slash senior parole officer wrapped up into one. That she's 25 or 26 years old, in my opinion, learned things from a book, from how she speaks. That lets me know. There's no room for suggestions in here. Let's put it like that. It's they way, and that's that. It's they way, and that's that. Like, we go in, we workers group. Workers group. You come in every day, you're supposed to talk about, you know, the topic of what it is. Not about that Jordans cost $200. We have a whole group about Jordans.
Sneakers?
Yes, sneakers. And this is supposed to be relapse in anger or something like that. Weed and anger or something. It's topics. But we'll talk about Jordans. We'll talk about Chipotle. We'll talk about current events. I find that interesting, other than talking about things that's not meaningful. And sometimes it takes a lot. I get frustrated. I get aggravated. I try to turn the dynamic of the group around and really utilize it at that moment for what I need it for, or try to inject, or even I would try to be one of the first ones that would speak when they open a group up for the topic, you know, trying to gear the group to go somewhere where people can, where I can walk away full. Something to help me through the next day. Not about Jordans. I don't want to leave a group more frustrated than I walked in. It's already you feel uncomfortable in there.
There's no avenue that you can go to that says, I really don't care about Jordans because I don't plan on buying it anytime soon. My rent needs to be paid.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I really do. And I believe there are avenues in there like that. But let me tell you something. We tried. Nobody cares. The people that's sitting in the room, they really don't care.
Everybody's mandated.
The counselor don't care.
Are they all the people they are mandated to
parole
be there?
Mandated. Everybody that's in my group, we from parole.
That's
frustrating. And they don't care. Like, if I sit down and you're my counselor and you giving me a one-on-one session, I understand your job is to report back to the parole officer, but not everything I'm saying to you. How do I feel safe? How do I feel safe? Because her job is to lock me up if I step out of line. But I'm telling you personal things. I'm telling you some stuff that ain't even relevant to parole that you're telling parole.
Wait, but this is a drug treatment program.
This is the counselor, so I'm saying
drug
program.
You're talking about like a KSAC or KSAC-T or whatever they are.
And it's a drug program.
Go to a psychotherapist, and then you nothing goes out without your signature.
No. Okay, I get that. I have no problem with that.
No, I have a problem with that because that's given. I'm a KSAC-T also, but I'm also a licensed mental health counselor. So that's two hats. Okay? And if you're mandated to be there, then they're mandated to provide the information that you provide. They're mandated. There's no way they can get around that. But if you go to a therapist other than being mandated to go to one, they can't give out your information. They call that, that's someone that they're privileged.
Yeah.
You know, and it's so hard for, how do you differentiate between, I'm talking to a counselor. I'm talking to a counselor. And what I'm saying is private. But if somebody mandated you to be there, it's private between the three of y'all. The agency, your counselor, and you.
So that's what makes it feels uncomfortable a lot. But outside of that, I still do what I got to do. I talk about what I need to talk about if it's something really, but I also learned how to hold back too and utilize other people outside of her, like my primary counselor. The groups, I really don't get satisfying from that because they playing. They playing, and I'm at a period and point in my life where I'm not playing no more. I'm not playing. Like, I don't take none of this as funny. I can't do no more prison. I have no more runs in me. Like, I'm old. I love being home with my wife. I love weekends with our grandkids. I love what we do and where we're going. I don't want to give that up.
Okay, so now you have an investment in you.
Yeah, and it feels strange, scary, and uncomfortable. That's how I
But
know I'm doing the right thing, though.
okay, so we can scale you some more when we say you're gonna go over here and talk to the Women's Business Resource Center,
Yeah.
who's gonna help you make your agency, your I don't even want to call it an agency, your entity,
Now I'm gonna tell you
a
what it is.
reality.
It's QFC Frat House.
All right.
I want to build it like a frat house, like a sorority. That's what I want to build QFC, to look and emulate a sorority, giving kids some type of sense of being, of importance, of I'm a part of this, but something good.
All right.
Repping something good. You have a clubhouse. A safe haven is our clubhouse. You can come here, you can study. But when you in here, you're going to take care of business. You're going to study. You're going to get tutoring. You're going to get a hot meal. You're going to learn how to work. You're going to learn how to earn your money. Like, you know, me and my wife, we have our little thing called K&K Fish and Wings. That's going to be, I want QC to be, hopefully, it probably won't be, but I need it to be a nonprofit organization, and we plan on funding it through our cooking. I'm a licensed chef, so is she. She has her food protection, and we want to build K&K Fish and Wings, and we want to be able to offer these young adults opportunities at holding a job, earning real money. I want to put 10 pies in front of you as opposed to 10 bags of cracks or 10 bags of weed, and they all going to equal up to $100. But this is the least trouble here to sell, and you'll sell that faster than you would that. Because you might take one bag of crack or one bag of weed and sell one of those and get locked up, and the other 9 is trash. The other 9, you won't even see 90, but I could sell all 10 of these pies and see all $10, that whole $100, and feel good about that.
See, so we're like minds. That's what it is, because that's what a Different Approach Academy is. What is with the bowling.
Yes.
You know, and what we did was we trained our youth to be coaches. We had them trained so that they're all certified Olympic coaches.
Yes.
Because I knew that being inside of a bowling center was better than them being on the street. And they could earn money, because summer youth employment in New York is very sometimey. And so I knew that every summer that my guys had some place to be, and guys and girls, so it was youth, because they started at 13 getting their training.
Yes.
And now they're in their 30s. Oh. And now they're in their 30s, and they're still certified. They're still active in the community, and they're paying it forward. They're paying it forward, because if you make the commitment, and that's the good thing about our youth, is that if we make a commitment to them and we keep the commitment, then they become committed adults, and they know to give it back. Give it back, because remember where you were. And all I said to them was, if you're here on Saturday, I'll be here before you.
That's great.
You know, so the bowling academy is I wanted it to have upstairs where they could do other things besides bowling, where they could do tutoring and learn how to be responsible people.
Yes.
Not necessarily adults, but be responsible people. And the adult stuff comes later. And everybody did graduate from high school, so they must have heard something, because we also had teachers who bowled with us, and they tutored them, so they didn't have to pay for tutoring. And it's kind of hard if you're poor to say, okay, now I need to buy a tutor too, and when you don't hardly have enough money to pay for your lineage. So you have to have a venue for them, and you're saying, and where would you locate this? 'Cause
well, my first spot would have to come in Queens. That's where I'm from, South Jamaica, Queens. My first spot. I would have, and it's always been a dream of mine. Ever since I started this, I've seen this property forever, and it's still vacant. I think now they made it like a little community garden or something, but I want this. I would want it to be in Queens, because that's where I'm from. And it's kind of crazy. Like, I want QFC to give out all this stuff, like the tutoring and stuff like that, but we're going to be more kids than anything. Like, more big kids. I want a big old playroom. I want to be able to go out and take, you know, the kids from the Bronx and bring them to Queens, and take the kids from Queens and bring them to the Bronx. I want to have ball games against each other.
So,
I want us to travel, take all of these, whatever team is playing against each other. I want to be able to take them and go out to Bear Mountain somewhere, do something different, swim. A lot of kids haven't done nothing.
so what you have to remember to do is, when you write your grant, because you are going to write a grant, put the transportation in, not as an afterthought, but as an integral part of the program. See, that's what I'm saying. Our stuff gets bastardized
Yes.
because we're not clear. We're not specific.
Okay.
Because I think we have like minds, so you know what I'm thinking.
Yes.
Okay, you know what I'm thinking, but they don't know. They have no clue, and they're going to fill in the gaps of what they're thinking, which is not necessarily correct. So if you're saying, well, I don't want them just to be in the building. I don't want them to just be in the facility. I want them to go places. I want to show them things. I want to take them to plays. I want to take them here. I want to let them see that there's other parts of the world in their neighborhood or their household or their...
I want to help them to understand choices. You have a choice. Like, you just have a choice.
You know, and
you not
don't
being afraid to make the right decision in that.
And not okay, we make choices and sometimes they're not the right choices, but that doesn't mean you have to continue with that choice even if it's wrong, if it's not right. And that's kind of where our kids go, well, I'm a kid. They're like running into that brick wall, running into that brick wall, running
stubborn.
into that brick.
We refused to. I was that kid. Stubborn, refused to listen to anybody that was an adult or an authority figure. Didn't want to hear it. You was out to get me. You was there to hurt me. You didn't care about me. So what could you say to me? And that was the attitude. And no, I know this. I got this. And every time they let me go and I had it, they had me too, right back in cuffs. So it's like I just see so much with them that's still out there. I know, like I see the talk shows today, but that's another goal of mine too. Aspiration of 4 QFC. And it's the one they have a talk show like you. I'm gonna grow up to be just like you. And I would like to deal with more or less the parents, the root of the problem, not just the kid. I would want to have a seated parent, like I see the talk shows today. Bill Cunningham had it. A couple of other shows had it, where the mother and the daughter were there, and they were talking about their difference. But it was more focused on the kid. And the kid is saying, if people were here, but what about you? What about what you did to the mother? And nobody's zooming in on that. And that's where the root is 9 times out of 10, because a lot of our anger comes from our parent.
And how we overcame that with the bowling is we had the parents bowling with the kids. So they get throw out the frustration, but a lot of stuff goes on other than just bowling in a bowling center. It's what you make it, because the community is there as well. So I'm never going to let go of the bowling. I'm never going to let go of the bowling, because it's not only recreation, it's also educational. And it's also, it brings families together.
Yeah, the bond.
It brings everybody together. It brings the community together, because we had teachers, we didn't have a doctor yet, but we had teachers, we had architects, we had sanitation people, we had police people, all coming together and saying, I'm gonna beat you up. And they meant, and they didn't mean they was gonna hit you. They meant they were gonna beat you up. They're gonna beat you in bowling. And the kids learned that I can, if I'm mad, because I tell them, you mad at me? Because I yell. I'm a yelling coach. I'm not supposed to yell, but I'm a yelling coach. You mad at me? See my head in those pins. Knock down the pins. Guess what? You get rewards. You get rewards for being angry if you do that. So you're looking for an alternative.
Yes.
And we're all looking for different ways. And my thing was, I haven't seen too much negativity in a bowling center. In a bowling academy, it would be even less, because there will be no liquor. There's no reason to have liquor in there, because I not only want to do the youth, I want to do senior citizens. Okay. Because their wisdom is being wasted right now. And let's get the whole community together and bring your people over too. Bring your people over too. See, because mine's going to be in the Bronx.
Yeah. And we're going to be in Queens, so we're going to have a tournament match.
Okay, come on over. You have more bowling centers in Queens than you have in the Bronx. But the academy will accommodate people. Because I was even looking at, well, maybe the top floor we could have, like, apartments.
Yeah, for people who really need it. Need that transitional stuff.
Or even, like, overnight camp. Bowling camp, like 3-day overnight camp. They can sleep. See, and that's also providing jobs, because who's going to supervise? Because you said you want to have hundreds of kids there. So you're going to be providing jobs for people because 100 kids, you got to have people up in there. I'm telling you, because kids are, I remember you got to have people up in there to supervise. You really do have to have that. And not, I'm not saying that in a negative way, but just to hold down the fort. It's like all bowling coaches now have to be registered volunteers, so all of us have background checks.
Okay.
So they know there's nobody going. Well, they always knew that about a different approach because the women in a different approach don't take no mess from nobody. You better not be near my kid. You better have a reason. And we almost killed the father because we never met him.
Wow.
He showed up one day to pick up his son, and he didn't come to an adult first. He went right to the kid, and we. Who are you and why are you here? Yeah. Why are you near our kid? And he was like, I'm here. I said, we don't know you. Who are you? And all of the mothers and the aunts said, well, who are you? And we don't know you. And he went and told, he said, we don't have to worry about him. Those women had murder in their eyes. And I'm saying, no, we're going to take, if you trust us with your kid, then we're going to make sure nothing happens to your child under our supervision.
Yes.
You know, so and I never left the bowling center until every kid was picked up, even if the parent was late. There were times when I just took them home. It was like, I don't think your mom is coming. I don't know what's going on here, but we don't just leave kids, you know, and that's another thing that you're going to have to make sure that if you're transporting them, then you're going to be dropping them off. But you're not going to drop off everybody. And those that are not dropped off should be picked up.
Okay.
Because I had the teenagers yelling at me, Miss Kathy, Miss Kathy, Miss Kathy, because Hilda don't bowl, Kathy bowls. You can leave. I'm 15. I'm 16. I said, uh-huh. I know you are. Uh-huh. And I want to know that you went home. And when you get home with your mom and your dad, then you can go wherever. I know you're 16. When they got to be 18, they were still saying, Miss Kathy, we 18 now. I said, uh-huh. Love you too. You know, when they got cars, that's when I let them go. Yeah. Go on your own. You're an adult now. You're married? Okay, fine, you can go. But that was just to let people know. So and it wouldn't be a bad thing for your people to be registered volunteers as well.
Yes, I plan on doing
Write it in the grant.
These are good. See, you're teaching me things that I need to know, points that I need to hit, that roadblocks that you probably came across that now, you know, you got better with it. And this is what I need. This is what I need. Because when it comes out, it's going to be a success. Definitely. It's going to be an instant overnight hit, you know, and it's just going to be wow. It's just going to be wow. The topics, where we're coming from, people like you to help me really, you know, the meat and potato of the situation, because we're not playing. There's no room to play with this. You know, like, we want to hit some stuff. We really seriously about reconstructing people on the inside. Now, I'm not going to say your life. I'm going to say on the inside. Because there's so much stuff that's on the inside of us that was tore down at very young ages that before they even got a chance to be built.
So they don't even know that they're tore down.
Exactly. I was that kid. There was a lot of soil that was poison spilt all over it that I didn't even know what can come out of that. You know, and that's where the phrase come in for me, how I put it together, is you don't even know your own potential. Like, no, I don't. Like, there's so much that was killed that I've never learned, that I've never understood that was there. What is potential? See, and when I stopped being afraid to ask those kind of questions and stop acting like I know it all, then that's when I started feeling the change of help coming. With me, helping myself.
Yeah, because sometimes it's the other end. Like, they said I would never amount to anything. That I would be on welfare with 50 kids by the time I was 25. And, well, no, I'm going to college. No, I know what you talk about. No, so what if I had a baby when I was 13? And your point. Mm-hmm. I'm going to college. I'm smart. You know, and so mine was an uphill battle with the people that I knew, because everybody else, I was the first one to graduate from high school, and who the hell was I to talk about going to college back in the 60s?
Oh, okay.
Okay, and we was poor. We couldn't even afford the OR, and she's talking about she going to college. She better get out of high school and go to work. That was their thing. And I was like, yeah, I'm smart. I get scholarships. I'm good. And it did happen that I lucked up, and I had people to hear what I was saying that were not relatives, because relatives didn't really hold me in high esteem. Now they do. People change once you show them that there is a way, and you make a difference for the people behind you. And my thing was, I'm the fourth child of 13. And after me, everybody graduated from high school except one. And he has his GED. So it's, and some of them went to college and some of them didn't. And I was saying, I don't think everybody should go to college, but everybody should at least have the ability to say, well, this is where I want to go. And I have my high school diploma and I can go there whenever I choose to. You know, and that's what we need to, that's my mission, and your goal is to actually help them to see. I could see me. I could see me. And that maybe I can make that a slogan too. I could see. I could be me, but I could see me, because sometimes we just don't see.
Yeah, you can't, and I think that's a great phrase, because they used to say other people could see you better than you could see yourself. So that'd be cool. That slogan, like now I can see me. You know, after so many different people seeing you for so long, yeah, now I can see me. I can see my own potential.
Put my glasses
I can see
on.
my strength on. You know, I just want, I want it to be a great success. I want to be a success. And in order for me to do that, I still come through I'm still treading through some muddy waters, you know.
You know, well, if Rome was built in a day, we'd have a whole lot of Romans.
You know.
You know.
But
So,
I'm here. I'm not running. I'm a runner. I used to be a runner.
so now you just taking it one step at a time.
Yeah, I'm not running. Instead of me running, I'll just stand still. When I get overly scared and the fear comes, or I make a wrong move, or I mess up, or, you know, I know that it can be straightened up, but if I run, it's going to make it worse.
So now you call for help.
Yes, I do.
Call
Yes,
for
I do.
help.
I'm so grateful to have multiple numbers in my catalog, such as you, such as, you know, a couple of other people that's in, you know, parole, in parole division clinicians. I have a couple of friends that I do call or reach out with. It's just, I see, you know, it's just great. Like, I don't know how to really get it all out. My thoughts is racing too fast from my mouth, and my heart is beating real fast. I'm nervous. It's like I haven't been at this table for so long, and to find myself back here, I'm trying to understand, what does this mean? And it's fearful. I was just talking to my wife about it the other day. Like, first we went through so much over the last week with my health. My asthma has just been like crazy. And going through that, and then, you know, the little pitfall that I put myself in with parole and then the program, and coming up out of that. And then I'm like, okay, I'm still holding on to some stuff. And then you call. I'm like, wow, is Allah trying to tell me something? Like, do I need to be? And it's crazy because I had plans to go out this weekend. And right after I got your phone call, nothing felt the same. And we went out, but it didn't feel the same, so we came back early. And nothing feels the same. Like, you know, because I'm so afraid of messing up. Like, I'm that person that get right there to that door. As soon as that door open, bam, something stupid happens.
Okay, so we're going to close with these words.
Yes.
You don't have to mess up. Nobody can make you mess up. You can keep it strong. Stay focused on what it is that you want to do, and do it. And if it doesn't work out exactly like you planned, that may be God's will working.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. I want to thank you, Ms. Broady, for giving me this opportunity. And I know you would do this for many other women long after me. I just wanted to thank you for really just being there for us, too, because you're a blessing when you do come to Bedford and see people, because there are really some people who do need the services that you do have, a hell of a lot of us. And I'm just grateful. Thank you.
And you are welcome. QFC. And in closing, I want to say another great episode, don't you think? Thank you for choosing In My Shoes. That's SHOOZE. We have a lot of love, we have a lot of caring, and we have some exciting people, don't you agree? Until next time, stay loving.
Yeah, M-Wham got a message for you. Check it out. I've been less offended by the boxers or the sagging pants in our community. I got a song for you. Check it out. Here we go. Come on.
Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up.
Yeah.
It's the new style.
Come on, Collect, talk to me.
Say, Mr. Harris, sagging jeans is an epidemic.
That's right.
One that I've never been a fan of. And I can't stand how these young men, they sagging, they dragging. Come on, pull your pants up. And I know us girls, we in the wrong for not putting these fellas on.
You got the power.
But I'm offended by boxers, and I think that we all should be. You feel
Come
me?
on, help me.
Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up.
Why?
It's the new style.
Come on.
Pull your pants up, pull your pants up.
Yeah.
Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. It'll make your mama proud.
Here we go.
We living in a world affected by an epidemic. Sagging jeans and sweatpants is how I'm living. Need to set the example to make the future right. So hear our message when we hit you with the chant.
Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up.
It's kinda catchy.
Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. It's the new style. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. It'll make your mama proud.
I know you heard your belt say. You know your belt was talking to you this morning. Said, come on, just take me with you. I just want to help you all day keep your pants up. I just want to throw myself around you and hang out with you all day long. But you know what? You didn't listen, so now we're going to have to tell you this. Come on, say it.
Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. It's the new style.